I don't want to keep doing this. I think it's beneath me. The truth was put out there. You hear my side and that person's side. And here we are having to address it yet again.
Jackie Christie and her daughter Shantel Christie have just been sentenced after a long and messy legal fight. What started as rumors has now turned into hard time behind bars. And it's not just a slap on the wrist either. This is serious. Jackie has now been exposed for a much darker side behind the camera, and Shantel was right in the middle of it too. Both mother and daughter were found guilty of financial crimes that had been building up for years. But how did we even get here? How did someone who seemed to have it all end up trading red carpets for a courtroom? How did reality TV's boldest personality go from designer gowns to a prison jumpsuit? Let's go back.
I was doing nothing but telling the truth. I heard her say it, and I repeated it. I'm grown, and I do what I want. You know who I am. I'm Jackie Christie. That ain't gonna change.
Jackie Christie wasn't just a basketball wife, she was the show. From the moment she stepped into the VH1 spotlight, she made sure no one could look away. Whether she was arguing at the dinner table or organizing over-the-top events, Jackie made sure the cameras stayed locked on her. Her brand was built on being bold, and she cashed in on that attention. She had the confidence, the style, and the chaos that reality fans couldn't get enough of. And with Doug Christie, a former NBA player, by her side, the couple gave off an image of wealth, stability, and long-term success. Jackie leaned into it. She portrayed herself as someone who ran businesses, empowered other women, and showed off a lifestyle that screamed success. Right beside her was Shantel Christie, her daughter, her pride, and at times her business partner. While Jackie kept the reality drama going, Shantel started building her own path. She showed interest in fashion, beauty, and entrepreneurship. To outsiders, it looked like a mother-daughter duo leveling up together. Shantel was young, stylish, and gave off a polished influencer vibe. She didn't do much reality TV, but her presence still gave Jackie credibility. Jackie often called her a mini-me and promoted Shantel's projects like they were family empires in the making. But behind the cute selfies and red carpet photos, there were signs. Fans noticed the flexing never seemed to match up with what was shown on TV. Jackie talked about investments and big deals, but there was little proof of real business. Shantel was said to have launched several ventures, but none had lasting traction. Still, the money kept flowing. For years, people whispered, how did Jackie afford it all? VH1 checks are nice, but private jets, luxury properties, and lavish events raised real questions. Jackie wasn't starring in blockbuster movies or running Fortune 500 companies. Yet her lifestyle kept escalating, and not just for her. Shantel seemed to live large, high-end cars, designer bags, and expensive vacations, all without visible sources of income. That's when things started to shift. An anonymous whistleblower came forward. The tipster brought receipts, financial records, audio recordings, and detailed documents showing a web of fraud that had been active for years. At the heart of it was a scheme involving fake businesses, stolen identities, and misused government funds. The allegations were serious, and the evidence was enough to get federal attention. The tip led to a quiet investigation that quickly picked up steam. IRS agents began tracking financial activity tied to both Jackie and Shantel. Multiple accounts were flagged, funds were being moved in suspicious patterns. Several so-called businesses linked to Shantel turned out to be shells. They didn't operate, didn't pay taxes, and didn't employ anyone, but they received money. Investigators uncovered fraudulent loan applications, forged documents, and ghost employees. Some of the loans were traced back to Shantel, others directly to Jackie. Both women were listed on multiple filings that claimed fake business losses and requested large government relief payout. The amounts added up fast. Once the feds confirmed the paper trail, things moved quickly, warrants were issued, homes were raided, devices were seized, and the lifestyle they'd worked so hard to maintain began to crumble, one charge at a time.
Crack addict, you're not on my level.
I'm a crack addict because I'm small and you try to get lipo 80 times to look like me. Okay, big ears.
You're right, but you better keep your ass in that seat tramp. That's what you better do. You're right, Dumbo ears. Yeah, I got a lot of husbands about these ears, bitch. Get a husband. That 48-year-old been working, bitch. You
Let
right.
him retire.
Federal prosecutors dropped the hammer with a long list of felonies: tax evasion, wire fraud, money laundering, and conspiracy to commit financial crimes. But according to court documents, those were just the surface-level offenses. What investigators uncovered painted a picture of a full-blown operation run by Jackie and her daughter, Shantel. Prosecutors claimed the Christies created fake nonprofit organizations that looked legitimate on paper. But those groups didn't run events, they didn't support real causes. What they did do, allegedly, was launder money that came from misused loans, identity theft, and shell companies tied to both Jackie and Shantel. And it didn't stop there. The feds claimed Jackie used her husband Doug Christie's old businesses as shields. These businesses became financial fronts, absorbing large transfers, falsifying expenses, and moving funds in ways that confused even seasoned investigators at first glance. To make matters worse, some of the addresses tied to these companies traced back to short-term rental homes and P.O. boxes. When the trial began, things went from shocking to surreal. Jackie showed up to court wearing muted designer clothes, escorted by her legal team, but the energy was tense. Inside the courtroom, prosecutors started with hard evidence. They displayed charts of bank records, timelines of fraudulent transactions, and communications between Jackie and Shantel that prosecutors said showed a clear intent to deceive. Then came the real bombshells: testimony and tape. Former friends and associates were subpoenaed. Some admitted they were used to sign documents they didn't understand. Others flat out said Jackie promised them payouts if they played along. One even turned state's witness in exchange for immunity, telling the court how Jackie coached her on creating fake employee records to qualify for payroll relief programs. But nothing hit harder than the secret recording. The FBI had obtained audio of Jackie speaking directly to Shantel, allegedly advising her on how to shift funds between dummy accounts to avoid red flags. In one recording, she could be heard warning Shantel to keep the numbers small enough not to trigger anything. The courtroom fell silent as the clip played. The voice was unmistakably Jackie's, and it didn't sound confused or accidental, it sounded strategic. The defense tried to argue that Jackie and Shantel were being targeted unfairly, that the money trail was messy, not criminal, but the evidence overwhelmed that argument. The prosecutors made it clear this wasn't bad bookkeeping, it was a calculated scheme.
It's disgusting. It's disgusting. It makes me sick.
She said a lot of things that actually hurt my feelings as a mom.
Shantel began to crack under pressure. On the stand, she broke down in tears. She told the court that all she ever wanted was to make her mom proud, to match the image Jackie projected to the world. She admitted to signing off on documents she didn't fully understand, trusting her mother's judgment over her own, but Jackie stayed firm even as the walls closed in. Her poker face held up during cross-examinations, during damning testimonies, even as prosecutors described the full scale of the fraud. That composure only cracked once when the jury returned with a guilty verdict on all major counts. The sentencing was swift, the judge didn't hold back, calling Jackie a master manipulator who leveraged her fame to run a sophisticated scam. She was sentenced to 20 years in federal prison. Shantel, having cooperated partially and shown remorse, received 12 years. They were led out of the courtroom in silence, just prison-bound shackles and the weight of everything they'd built crashing down. But while the court gave its verdict, the public had just begun theirs.
With all the slander going on with these ladies, I just wanted to take a step back and enjoy my time, focusing on what means the world to me, and that's my family.
Once the verdict hit the news, social media lit up like wildfire. Fans who had followed Jackie for years couldn't believe what they were reading. One user posted, "I used to love Jackie's chaos on TV, but scamming people? That's next level dirty." Another wrote, "Not Jackie Christie out here defrauding folks while preaching loyalty on every episode. People who once cheered her bold attitude now called her manipulative, selfish, and greedy. Some even went back and pulled old clips of her flaunting her wealth on TV, now viewing those moments as red flags instead of entertainment." And then came the victims. Small business owners who thought they were donating to legitimate causes spoke out, saying they were promised partnerships or sponsorships that never came. An elderly couple said they gave over $50,000, 0 cents, to one of the fake charities after watching a segment featuring Jackie speaking about youth empowerment. That money, gone. No tax write-off, no refund, just silent. One man said, "I trust her name. I trusted what she built, but we were all just pieces in her game." Another added, "She knew exactly what she was doing and who she was hurting." As public outrage spread, the impact went beyond just Jackie and Shantel. Doug Christie found himself caught in the crossfire. Even though he wasn't charged and prosecutors didn't tie him directly to the crimes, the damage to his reputation was real. His name showed up on several of the now questioned business filings. Sponsors pulled back, sports media questioned his silence, and according to court insiders, Doug filed for legal separation just 4 days after the sentencing. Sources say he was blindsided by how deep it all went. And the effect didn't stop with the family. VH1 began pulling episodes of Basketball Wives that heavily featured Jackie. Syndication deals were paused. Brands she had worked with ended their partnerships. The show's production team made no public statement, but fans noticed the silence. For years, the Christie name was TV gold. Now it was radioactive. And in the most haunting scene yet, Jackie and Shantel were led out of the courtroom in matching beige jumpsuits, wrist cuffed, surrounded by marshals. No cameras, no sound bites. Just the slow walk of two people whose worlds had completely collapsed. From TV stardom to federal prison, Jackie Christie's journey is the ultimate lesson in how power, fame, and unchecked ambition can unravel everything. The dynasty is gone, and what remains is a chilling reminder that even the biggest stars can fall. Were you shocked by the verdict? Did you see this coming? And do you think justice was truly served? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We've got more jaw-dropping stories coming your way.